Hello, welcome to Civil Noise podcast. My name is Brian Lamar, your co-host, along with Andrew DeSellis. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, Brian. How are you? I apologize for my poor audio quality. I'm here in the Delta Sky Club in Seattle, Washington. So we're in headphones, not in the normal podcast studio.
You were both having little weird situations. You just sound sick. You don't sound too bad. I want to do a rapid reaction of SampleCon.
Yes, I'm jealous. Not going to many conferences this year. Didn't get to go to SampleCon. I'm excited to hear the highlights.
Yeah. Well, first I'll frame it as I didn't get to go to the whole conference because my flight was canceled. I know a lot of people had travel issues, not just to SampleCon, but to other places. So I missed the content on the first day. I was there for the happy hour, the dinner. So I heard about the content. I was there all of day 2, which was great. And I had to leave today because I drove. I ended up supposed to fly, ended up driving. Everybody had a travel story. So that's one of the big takeaways, I think, from SampleCon is everybody had a travel challenge because it was 35 degrees in Georgia. It was threats of snow. It was cold. It was rainy. It was really bad weather. I'm not complaining too much though, because it wasn't a nice resort. And it was, it was 99% people that were at SampleCon in the hotel. So it was kind of cool. So I'll kind of give you my big highlights and maybe just ask me a few questions and hopefully I have answers to those questions. Is that cool?
Let's do it.
Yeah, the first thing is I get a sense that SampleCon is becoming almost like a tech conference.
Really?
And I've been, I don't know, at least 10 SampleCons. And originally it was Lucid and a lot of its partner network, right? A lot of those were feeding into the Lucid platform. And then it kept expanding to more mainstream panels. Now it's still based on sample, but it's a lot of tech. And it's not your traditional players that are on stage like it used to be. It's a lot of different companies, and this is a good thing. A lot of different companies, Verisol was on stage, and a lot of companies you ever heard Ag Knowledge was on stage, and companies that are testing AI are talking about it. And so that's the first takeaway is that the conference is getting big and more tech oriented. And it's more detailed around sample from a technical standpoint, which is where we need to go, and an innovative standpoint than it used to be, which was around more standards and partnerships. That was really the topics a few years ago. Now it's really about how do we implement AI and tech, and who are these new data quality companies and dashboards and platforms, and who are these non-traditional panels that are connecting with everybody. So I really like that part of it. It's odd going when, I don't know, there's 300 people there and I only know 100 of them. Used to be I'd go and there were 150 people there and I knew 100 of them. And so there's a lot of new people, a lot of the same faces, but a lot of new people, and so I'm constantly looking at name tags. It's almost like you're at a small IIEX is how I would say it. So that's the first point I would say.
Well, that's really encouraging. I feel like several years ago, the main benefit of SampleCon was the networking.
Yeah.
Right? And it's always been fantastic for that. It's always been the only conference specifically dedicated to suppliers to the market research industry, right? So not bashing it historically at all, but feeling that shift towards it being technology oriented, innovation oriented, and that it's growing and that there's new faces. That is really encouraging. Not surprised at all that everyone was saying AI, AI, AI. What were your main aha moments around, one, the ways that people are incorporating artificial intelligence into the marketing research work stream, and B, something like new? Was there any products, any companies that surprised you?
I probably missed the synthetic sessions. So there was not a lot of talk about synthetic while I was there. I think on day 1 there was some synthetic talk. So Farragen and the companies that we're aware of, Qualtrics is there, and so the AI focus that I heard was more traditional MR AI focus around efficiencies and agentic tasks and things like that. And again, I'm only there a day. I didn't talk to everybody. This is my slice of a perspective. I didn't feel like, at least from my perspective, that it was like 100% all in on AI. Now, given there's still some traditional panels there, and very traditional companies are there, so not the newer, not a lot or a ton of the newer market research companies were there. So I would say it's kind of what we're doing with efficiencies internally, building things here, testing things. There was a lot of that. Prolific spoke about some MR, some ROR that they're doing, which was kind of cool, but not a lot about synthetic. But I think that was on day one that where synthetic was talked about. The keynote, which I really miss, was Patrick Comer versus Melanie Courtright, basically human versus synthetic. That was the discussion, and I don't think they, from what I can read online and what I spoke about, they just kind of did point counterpoint, and I don't think it was very scripted, which is what I like. Patrick was obviously synthetic, 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 and Melanie was more traditional human beings, and she had some quotes around, human beings can't, I mean, bots and synthetic can't love, you know, synthetic can't have those irrational feelings. Synthetic can have that, you watch a TV show and you have that kind of euphoria and things like that. Not that we'd ever test that in research, but her point was synthetic can only get so far. And Patrick was like, synthetic is going to replace a lot of traditional research, and it's going to supplement, and it's going to complement, and it's going to do all these things. I wish I'd seen that. I did talk to Patrick. It's good to have him. I hadn't seen Patrick in a few years, and so it was, first of all, it's good to see Patrick, and I'm glad Melanie was there. Even though she's in a new role, obviously at Sego, but kind of really summarizes the answer to your question. I probably missed a lot of the more techie AI synthetic talk. I don't know if there was a big AI surprise. There's a lot of AI talk. It's kind of like how we're talking to clients. A lot of AI discussions, but nothing was like, oh wow, so and so is doing this. I didn't see any of that.
That's one thing that's really interesting because I see. I had a client last night I had dinner with. That's so lovely, but you're talking about artificial intelligence, and I was describing some of the things that I was doing in my personal life with it. Some of the ways I'm thinking about applying it, and he called me an aggressive adopter. And
Oh,
I think that it's interesting because I'm this aggressive adopter. My entire LinkedIn feed, podcast feed, Instagram feed, X feed. I have X now, by the way. First time in my life. I didn't play that. Got an X account just to follow AI
yeah.
news, see what Dario is tweeting about, right? What Sam Altman's tweeting about. But I think that there is still a huge gap between what is possible and how people are using it. I also think that the what is possible theoretically versus what is possible realistically and especially reliably, that is very overstated. I am categorically pulling myself back from a little bit of the doom spiral edge.
Good.
Not from a will it get there standpoint. I think
Yeah.
that's undeniable. But I might push my, you know, the Anthropic report that we talked about 2 weeks ago said 67% of market research daily tasks could be automated by artificial intelligence. Today, I think that's theoretical. I think it's probably closer to 20 to 30%.
Yeah.
As far as being able to do it reliably and with quality. Does that seem like everyone's talking about it, everyone's experimenting, but you didn't see anything that was crazy? Like there wasn't a company that was like, hey, buy our AI project manager or
No.
something like that. Not at
The,
all.
the closest I got was Matt Gershner. He started his own company called Fair Response, a sample company,
Okay.
and he released his app recently.
Okay.
And he was saying that he is using agents or can use agents, and I don't want to misrepresent what he's told me, but basically he will be able to use agents to connect APIs rather quickly. And that's what we were talking about. Like imagine if you can connect an API instead of, I mean, how long has it taken us in previous roles to connect an API?
We got 90 days.
Yeah, 90 days.
It's a massive development task.
Now I think you'll be able to do that 10 times the speed. So I don't know if that's 9 days or 4 days, but I think that will be possible. That might have been the biggest aha that I probably didn't mention. Was that was in a
Yeah.
conversation at dinner with Matt, who's doing
That
some cool stuff.
that seems like a task that AI could do in 9 hours, not 9 days. Yeah, that seems like
Right.
something very,
Very doable.
very, very doable.
If
Um,
both the companies are using AI and have pretty clear specs on how to connect with each other.
what?
Can I add one more thing?
Please do.
In the synthetic session, it was Emporia, Crowdwave, and Infinity. So a lot of our listeners probably even have heard of some of those companies.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that the conversation in the past has been, should we? And now it's moving to, how do we prove it works? That's how I think the industry has moved. Not that we're slow to adopt it. And this is probably from a research standpoint, this is what you'd expect from researchers. We were at should we a year ago. Now we're at prove it to us. Because it's coming. And so that's what we're doing. We're doing ROR. We're testing with our Qualtrics Edge partners. And by the way, the Qualtrics Edge people were there. I had dinner with them. They were fantastic. I love them.
Wonderful.
So
Dr. Harper, I hope.
No.
Okay.
No, Dr. Harper. I missed Jordan, unfortunately. Oh, also our Verisol partners were very prevalent at the conference.
Great.
Love the Verisol people. They talk about the future of engaging real people alongside Cloud Research, Protege, GLG. So they were very prevalent, and so shout out to the Verisol people. And then let's see, Walmart. I wanted to talk about Walmart. So Walmart, shout out to Mark and Amy. They spoke very briefly, only like 15 minutes. They did a series of like little 10-minute sessions, which I liked, little quick hitters, like little quick TED Talks almost. And so really good job by Rachel and the SampleCon board in doing that. I've liked that a lot. But they talked about a respondent engagement and validated respondents. So they've built their own panel, and they talked a lot about, I think it was Data Ventures they've built their own panel that's super engaged. And they talked about keeping your respondents engaged and taking care of them. And I really liked that. And I think that was something I heard a lot of. And I don't know if that's my bias, because that's something I'm focused on now at ROI, is making sure our panelists are happy and engaged and we're treating them fairly. But that was what Walmart was saying, is that implored panels to invest in their panelists, that we need panelists in the industry. And here's a little bit of how we're doing it. Now, it's easy to engage people when Walmart is beside your name, right? It's harder when you're an app. All of us in the industry have apps that don't have quite as high awareness as Walmart, right?
Right.
So, but I really liked when a big brand obviously is on the main stage talking about respondent engagement. That hit home, I hope, with people. And what was interesting is Mark was I think he was president at SSI. He comes from a sample background. And Amy, I worked with previously in a different life. She was at Lightspeed. So they have two sample people kind of leading this effort at Walmart. And I'm glad they're on the main stage of a conference talking about this to sample people. That's encouraging to me that they're doing that. Those are the big takeaways. I got to see all the people that you'd imagine were there. It was great. The networking is fantastic. Just catching up with Big Nash and the rep data people and Bob Fossen at Data Quality Council. And
oh my God.
What's that?
I just said, oh my God. Yeah.
Data Quality Co-op.
Big names. Yep.
Yeah, and Roddy at DTAC. And
how's Roddy doing? Is his beard still epic?
Oh, fantastic beard.
Good.
This is one of my favorite people. He's so smart. And doing really cool stuff there. And I saw Kathleen at EMI, and she's doing great. And she was everywhere, very prevalent, and it was good to see her. And a lot of our partners were there. Found a couple of new partners. Got to see a lot of our clients and partners while there. And so I think the networking still exists, and there's lots of opportunities especially when you can't really leave. This isn't like in downtown Atlanta or New Orleans or Austin, where you go out to dinner and you leave, and people are staying in different hotels. Everybody's within about 100 yards of you at all times, so you can track them down. So SampleCon is I think it was a great conference this year. There are times when I've left conferences, not necessarily this one, but a little underwhelmed.
Okay.
I'm really glad I went. I'm glad I made the drive. I almost didn't make the drive because I missed all of day one. It was half a work day driving, and then where I could have been working. So overall, a fantastic conference, and so good job by the board.
Well, Brian, that's all fantastic to hear. I know we wanted to do just kind of some quick highlights this morning, put those out to everyone who couldn't attend. And I'm glad to hear it from you because I was personally wondering what was going on while I was on my separate travels. So kind of to summarize, SampleCon is growing. SampleCon is innovative. Synthetic and AI are moving forward. No real kind of like explosions there. And it sounds like, there's a lot of great people who are working together to solve these problems. And that is
Yeah.
what was front and center at SampleCon.
Yep.
Is that fair to say?
Excellent summary as someone that was a little bit removed. I will also, possibly my favorite part of the entire time was I met Todor from J&T. I'd never met him, worked with him for probably 15 years.
Yeah.
J&T helps supply industry with project management help and programming help, and they work after hours and overnights, and they've supported lots of companies I've worked at, including I think they help ROI some as well. So really good to see Todor. Nicest guy. It was really cool to see him in person and thank him for a lot of the partnership up over the years. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. If people need things like that, I just know J&T stands for Joanna and Todor.
Yeah. Joanna wasn't there. I think there's a different conference in Europe going on.
Okay. And I think Todor also has the most beautiful eyes of anyone I've ever seen human beings.
I was going to comment on him.
Yeah, you have to. Anyway, I hope everyone got to meet them. Great people, and I'm very encouraged to hear everything that you said, particularly that piece about Walmart kind of building their own panel and evangelizing, high quality respondent engagement.
They were very outspoken, so they don't need our help in promoting their brand at all. But I was really proud of it. So yeah. So
wonderful.
Hey, let's have a safe flight home. We'll talk soon. And if you're listening on the way home from SampleCon, I hope you had a good time. Reach out to me if you have any additional thoughts that I missed, especially on day 1 and day 3. I missed about 3 hours of day 1 and a couple hours of day 3. So reach out and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.